I've been thinking lately about this scene from 2024's Civil War.
Lee's lost her faith in the power of journalism. State of the nation is QED.
I can't answer to that, Sammy. But I can tell you, this gunfire is getting extremely fucking hard.
I know this attitude is delusional. I know there's more than a thin thread of toxic masculinity that runs through it that allows people to forget how quickly adrenaline transmutes into trauma once the shooting actually starts. But I confess, when I asked my editors to send me to Minneapolis last month, I got excited. I felt the pull of covering the kinds of activities that might tilt into something as dramatic as what has happened. I forgot the trauma that I've experienced, the trauma that my friends have experienced. We've been trained to see violence as proof. Proof that something matters, proof of moral clarity, proof of who's the victim and who's the victimizer, proof of what counts as history. Violence gives us a narrative shortcut. It shows us where to look, who to see, and how to feel. For the people that perpetrate violence, this idea that violence tells us what matters also works in reverse. What matters is violence. And that's why some people keep talking about Minneapolis as though it was Fallujah.
It seems like one of the features of insurgent warfare in the Middle East, overseas, was often the use of things like improvised weapons, improvised explosive devices, coming up with sort of novel ways to inflict damage on American troops. And I've noticed that that is sort of the feature here too.
Now, this is in part a propaganda campaign, right? They think that if they can show folks that are just standing out there on the street corners, recording what's happening, the folks that are bringing groceries to their neighbors, they think if they can portray that as some kind of organized and malicious campaign, it will justify their own violence. But again, they just can't imagine it being anything else. This framework has a history. During the Montgomery bus boycott, the police could not believe that those that were refusing to ride the bus could possibly be doing it voluntarily. They convinced themselves there were roving bands of armed Black men intimidating the seamstresses and maids and clerks from riding the bus to work. They couldn't imagine solidarity, so they invented coercion. You've probably seen the most recent video of Alex Preddy on the street. It's meant to be proof that he wasn't a peaceful observer, but an agitator. I'm not saying that we should just give up the argument. I am saying that there are probably hours of other footage that's the real proof. The megabytes, terabytes of video that show Alex and others not doing much of anything. Here's what I actually saw in Minneapolis. I saw cars. I heard a lot of people calling in license plates. I saw empty parking lots. I saw streets filled with slush and snow. I saw the places where violence had happened recently in the past, but where there was no crime scene tape, no vigils. And then there's the stuff I didn't film because it wasn't very interesting. People doing the spreadsheets of the license plates that were being called in. People fixing doors and doorknobs where ice had broken in. Folks delivering groceries, baking lasagna, having other children come into their homes for a few hours so that the parents would get a break. I met one woman who has 2 young children at home herself, and her contribution to the movement was to literally do the jobs that other people couldn't. She wanted to contribute something, so she contributed clerical work. It is absolutely no coincidence that this is women's work. It is almost always unglamorous and quiet. It doesn't get anyone hard. It's the work that's often undocumented and forgotten, but it's work that you can do right now, and it might be the most important work of all. Hey, if you've made it this far in the video, then I'm dropping in to remind you that I would really appreciate a like or subscribe or a share. This channel has got monetized very quickly, and I really appreciate that, and I'd love to do more videos. So you can support me for free by liking and subscribing. You can also support me at a couple different levels at Patreon, patreon.com/AnneMarieCox2.
too. I also am a writer, and I've written about what's going on in Minnesota for TNR a few times, and you can find that stuff at tnr.com. And you can also find me on Blue Sky and Instagram. And I can't leave this video without reminding you that there are many ways to support the work that I've described, and you can find them at standwithminnesota.com, all sorts of mutual aid programs. And I also want to remind you that it's really important to get involved at the local level wherever you are now, because trust me, ICE is already there, and they could take these tactics beyond Minnesota, and the way to keep them from doing that and resist them when they do come is to have those local networks already present, and you can get involved now. So do that, and remember to get to know your neighbors. Bare minimum. Solidarity now, solidarity forever. Fuck ICE, and have a good day.